Well, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Crunch Time here on this Saturday evening out east, afternoon out west. I'm Britt Devine, joined by my typical weekend crew. This has been a fun show all season, guys. Coming to an end in a few weeks when baseball's over, but I've had a good time with you. We'll have a few more. We got Tim and TJ. TJ, what is going on, dude?
Oh, not too much. Very busy day today. Feeling a little bit under the weather, but I think it might just be because I haven't eaten enough today. So as soon as we're done the show, I'm going to grab a nice meal, sit down and follow the baseball scores, watch the MMA fights. It's going to be a good Saturday night.
So we've got 7 games. Doesn't start till 7:10. TJ, what is a nice meal? What does that entail for you?
I have no idea. I got to go on the apps and see what's calling my name.
All right. So the mobile. So I rarely do the ordering because, it's like, hey, here's this meal that's normally $15.99 at X restaurant, but now it's $21.99 on the app, and then there's like 17 different fees, and by the time it gets to you, it's like $35. Is that how it works in Canada?
I'm not that cheap, so it's not a big deal. But
Tim, do you go on the apps a lot? Something I don't really do. I do have the Amazon Prime. We have there's like a free year of Grubhub Plus. Newsflash to if any of you are Prime members. I was looking through there. When there's no fees, it makes a little bit more sense. But you are paying for the convenience. The driver's got to get paid. I understand it. Do you dabble in the delivery apps?
No, I live on an island off the coast of Maine, so I don't have any of those things like Uber Eats or DoorDash. None of those things are available.
Who's pedaling the bike to power?
Maybe somebody is. We got a couple crew of guys outside doing that right now.
Oh yeah, it's let me let you guys know. Do you guys? I know Grant does. I think Grant. I don't know if it's a bit, but I think he does a lot of delivery. I don't know. And well, I am cheap, so I
am a master. I am a master at it too. Is where it's like you can find ways to really get a good bang for your buck, in just depending on where you order. A lot of places they don't know who's ordering it. They don't know if there's kids at home. So if you grab 5-6 kids meals for something that have nice portions that are like $6 each, then all of a sudden you and your partner are set for the night.
You're doing pretty good there. All right. So speaking of set for the night, Tim, Tariq Skubal, he's pitching tonight. Is that it? Is that all we have to do?
Pretty much. Definitely for cash games, you're 100% playing Skubal. He's going to be, I would say, at least 50% owned in the $15 or whatever the big tourney is tonight on DK. I think it's the $15. Yeah, I mean, single entry, like in the 121, he's going to be like 75% owned, I would imagine. So yeah, it's definitely Skubal up top. He's 11-5 on FanDuel. You certainly still have to play him in cash, but he's pretty expensive over there. You could definitely make a case for some of the other guys in tournaments, I think. But yeah, it's definitely Skubal up top in cash.
I think the bat was throwing off Charlie Morton pre-show. Oh, I do have the bat up here as your FanDuel cash team. Let me put the RotoGrinders projections up. I am playing Skubal without question on FanDuel as my cash pitcher. What more do you want than one of the best pitchers in baseball against the White Sox? That's almost a no-brainer. What about on DraftKings? So you have to play 2 over there. You've got Skubal, he's 10-9, a little bit more affordable. There are a few, if you want to dabble in the 2 to 3K bats, that make them pretty attainable over there. The question for you is with SP2, who is that? Because they force you to play 2. I think there's like 6 guys who I think are reasonably viable pitchers tonight. And I think you could make a case for probably any of them in cash based on their prices, their performance, et cetera, on DraftKings. Are you going towards the higher tier on a guy like a Sonny Gray, a Michael King, who I like, he's been great. I know, I think I read Cards' article earlier today. He wasn't as high as on him as I think I am personally, but you've got him, Gray, and Lopez, who are basically the, good pitchers that are higher priced. And then you've got guys like Kershaw and Morton coming in a little cheaper that allow you to get some of the bats. What's your preference on DraftKings?
Yeah, so I'm definitely probably more on card side of Michael King. I'm not really that high on him today. Certainly in large field GPP, you can be part of like if you're making a portfolio of teams, like sure, you can get to some Michael King, but I wouldn't play him in 3 max or single entry. Not that high on him at all. I think that it's either I think in cash games you're probably going Clayton Kershaw. We just got this Rays lineup out. I haven't even looked at it yet, but they really can't make it that good. So it doesn't really matter what it is. I'm not really that concerned with it. I know that Kershaw isn't really getting that many, pitches. They're not really extending him. He does get Bill Miller as his umpire tonight, which is fantastic. That might be worth a couple Ks right there. So at 7.8K, he's going to be my cash game SP2. Now, if I want to pay up for one pitcher, like that's not King or Gray, it would be Pablo Lopez. He's my second favorite tonight. I may play Lopez in single entry, just because Lopez actually has a ceiling, whereas like Kershaw really doesn't. But I think Kershaw is just so much safer of a play. I'll just save the 800 in cash. But Lopez actually has a ceiling that actually could like win you a tournament. So if I can get that $800 more, which is really easy to do, I'm going to play Lopez in GPP.
All right, let's get speaking of GPPs, let's get the GPP man's view on this. We're waiting for some likes on Spidey Bombs. First team, we're up to 35 likes. That's not enough for a Spidey Bomb yet to kick off the show. Let's go those up to 50 or 75, TJ, for the first one.
We'll say 50 for number 1, 75 for number 2, and 100 for number 3.
All right, get those likes in. We'll get the Spidey Bombs. I'll throw in an extra of mine if it doesn't make TJ's list as well. TJ, tournament, Scoo Bowl, ownership, what's it looking like?
100%. Hit the lock button, have them in every single one of my lineups today. I have a total of 7 SP2s that I'm mixing and matching today. But yeah, I'm going to have Scoo Ball in every single one of my lineups. Kershaw is my next highest owned guy. I have him in 32%. After that, I'm actually going to the cheapies the most. So Ben Lively, Kai Bush, Taj Bradley, and then Morton and Lopez are my next tier. And then I have just a sprinkle of Michael King.
All right. So I got no Kershaw, no Sonny Gray. Who's been X'd out?
Kershaw's my second highest owned pitcher.
Oh, all right. I was refreshing some on my other screen. So give me, who are the main names that you're not on, that you don't have any percentage of today?
I do not have any Sonny Gray, or Jake Irvin would be the next highest owned guy. So right, Gray is really the only big one.
All right. So Gray's the other one.
And he only had a sprinkle of Michael King, right, TJ?
Yeah, so, I only have Michael King in 4 of 150 lineups.
Oh yeah. So I mean, I'm not playing Michael King. He's not my cash game because he's too expensive. I think for SP2, I'm on the Kershaw or Morton. Tim, I think you said probably Kershaw. Do you think Morton's fine too? It's just if you spend up on the other guys, to me, I know you like Lopez more for tournaments. It restricts the bats, I think, a little too much on DraftKings. Does that make sense?
Definitely. Yeah, I don't mind Morton at all. I just prefer Kershaw for cash, and I just think Lopez's ceiling is better than Morton and Kershaw's, but I don't mind Morton at all. TJ, do you have a take on Taj?
I like him for tournaments. I don't have any confidence in the play, but I think it projected single-digit ownership. He's very interesting just because we know he can spike the strikeout ceiling. So I don't feel good about it. I think I have a lot of Dodgers too. I think they likely get to him today, but I think the upside's there. So I'm playing some Taj.
Yeah, this run he was on for, I think it was like 8 or 9 games where he was barely giving up runs or hits or basically anything was insane. That's sort of gone by the wayside. But that certainly that can come back. He has the upside. As TJ, I think, yes, he is still alive after the sneezing attack. We see that. Good thing you found the mute button. Nobody needed to hear that. So Taj Bradley, again, fine. He's 7,500, right? He's not 9,500 like he was when he was going through that streak. It's the Dodgers. The Dodgers lineup's getting a little healthier, but if he flashes that upside at almost no ownership, that could take you up the leaderboard pretty easily tonight.
Yeah,
no one's on.
That would be a game. Sorry, that would be a game that I would get overweight both sides of. Both the Dodgers stacks and Taj Bradley. Like if I was building out 150. It won't be hard to do either way. But I mean, really, I could see Taj breaking the slate, or I could see the Dodgers easily breaking the slate. So that's just a spot where I think people should be overweight on both sides of it.
All right. Before we get to some bats, we do have 50 likes. That does mean we can get Spidey Bomb number 1. TJ, who are we looking at?
All right, Spidey Bomb number 1 today, plus 475. We got Jose Ramirez for the Cleveland Guardians as Spidey Bomb number 1 today. One of my favorite offenses on the slate, and he should not be plus 475 today. I think he should probably be like a plus 350, plus 375. So Jose Ramirez, Spidey Bomb number 1, second coming at 75 likes.
All right, looks like I see a 475 on a Bet MGM if you are looking for one of the main sports books to get down on that. My pick is it's from that game, other team. We'll see if it makes TJ's list. If not, I'll throw it out to you guys. All right, TJ, offense. A little bit of a weird slate because some of the pitchings, there's no like absolute gas cans out there that you really want to target against. You do have Kai Bush, but you have to roster Tigers. So let's talk about this Tigers conundrum, because if you're spending up on pitching, if you're playing Scooble, you're probably going to need some of the Tigers today. Where does that land for you in terms of ownership? Are they one of your highest owned teams? They have a high total on the board. What are you doing with them? I think they're going to be pretty popular out there as a stack, as individual plays. And then what else are you looking at? There was you, TJ.
Oh, sorry. I was trying to look at some stuff for somebody in chat. What was the question?
Basically offense, right? So we have the Tigers. So that if you're playing,
what am I doing with the Tigers?
Yeah, what are you doing with the Tigers and then everything else?
I'll probably be pretty close to even with the Tigers. They would be my like kind of 5th ranked stacks straight up. I think I would have Cleveland, Kansas City, Atlanta, and Texas all ahead of Detroit today. Kind of in line with like a Padres, but they are so cheap. They're in a good spot. I'll probably be about even with the field with the Padres. The Dodgers and the Phillies are the 2 teams I would love to be getting to more of. It's just kind of hard to full stack them because of the price. So I'm getting to a lot of them as like one-offs and mini stacks, but it is a lot tougher to full stack them up.
Tim, what about cash games? So what I'm finding, at least on my teams, is you have these cheap Tigers that help you. You know, if you're playing Scooble, you need some salary relief. And these guys look to be in reasonably good spots, even if they aren't the greatest bats in the world. How many Tigers should be in your typical cash game lineup? And then what other teams are you drawing for from offense?
Yeah, so I'd say 2 to 3 should do it. Possibly 4. It's really tough to play so many Tigers. They're just so terrible. But Kai Bush is also very, very terrible. Like Kai Bush to me is not ready to be in the majors. So I'm really like, I don't really hate Detroit chalk. It's just, I don't know. It's just tough. So anyway, I would say 3 to 4 Detroit in cash. And then I think we got to talk about this Kansas City game. This is like one of the few games that we've seen lately that actually have unbelievable hitting weather. Weather Edge loves it. It's 92 degrees. I think Cardi's been talking about how, where the Kansas City plays is really pretty good for home runs, actually. So I think that's another game that I would like to draw from in any format. And then obviously, maybe not obviously, but I really like attacking John Gray with lefties. I actually had J Ram as a tater before TJ had it. So I really like J Ram tonight. So I think getting to some Guardians would be a good play as well.
All right, a couple of likes away from Spidey Bomb number 2. Before we get to position by position, I want to tell you guys about RotoGrinders Premium. You can get ahead of the competition with it. We've got an option for you, whatever level you're looking for. You can get a 6-month combo subscription for just $470. That saves you $250 instead of buying 6 individual months of it. If you don't like commitment, you can get a single month of RotoGrinders combo premium for $120. And if you want to test it out for 3 days, you can get a 3-day pass for $19.99. Get you things like Lineup HQ, The Sims, Plate IQ. We're going to have all the NFL stuff that's coming up here. Make sure to check out RotoGrinders Premium for all of that. All right, let's go to catcher first. Hopefully we'll get to 75 likes, and TJ will get Spidey Bomb number 2 when he's up. Catcher to me, position seems like I say this every single week, and I think I said that last week, Tim. Trying to save money, I would like Sal Perez, right? Even against Ranger Suarez, we're not expecting Suarez to be in there for much more than 4, maybe 5 innings if he's pitching absolutely lights out, and he wasn't really lights out at all. Ranger Suarez from earlier in the season was great. Before he went on the IL, he was having some problems, wasn't doing too great. Sort of a wait and see on him. Nobody's really rostering tonight at the high price. But I'm going down Jake Rogers, 2,400 on DraftKings. You get to go up against the White Sox. What more could you want for $2,400 on DraftKings?
He's definitely one of the punts today that you'll be looking for in cash games. I think he's fine, as part of a Detroit stack. He's just so cheap. I think he makes a lot of sense. He's actually projected better straight up than guys like JT Realmuto. So, it's not like he's projecting poorly. He's actually projecting very, very strong. So, yeah, love Rogers. I don't mind Bo Naylor as a kind of a price point pivot in single entry GPP, a similar play, punting catcher, just with Bo Naylor instead of Jake Rogers. So I do like that play a little bit. Same thing with Carson Kelly. I don't mind as another punt GPP pivot. And then I think, obviously if you have all the money in the world, I would like to play Sal Perez, but I don't think this is the slate to be doing that outside of KC stacks and GPP.
Yeah. What are you doing at catcher, TJ? And we also have hit past 75 likes, get to 100. We'll get Spidey Bomb number 3. Let's get the second one out here, TJ.
Another Cleveland Guardians player today, plus 480, almost the same odds as J-Ram. We are going with Josh Naylor as Spidey Bomb number 2.
All right. I got, if you have a Circa, I see I think it's a 505 on Josh Naylor. There's very limited places that have that. I see a 475 on the Baileys and Bet Rivers, MGM, and Fanatics if you're looking for that on Mr. Josh Naylor.
I'm gonna give out my Tater. I'm gonna go my Tater real quick before TJ steals it. I'm gonna go John Kensey Noel plus 550 at Bet MGM. He's also 520 at FanDuel.
Yep, mine's let's just stay in this game. We'll get all of the home runs out. Mr. Corey Seager, what is he doing at plus 400 today? This is like a first at bat home run pretty easily. Plus 400 Fanatics MGM for Corey Seager. Love him. He is hot in August. Looking for him to knock one out today. All right, catcher TJ tournaments. What's up?
I got thrown off as J3 says TJ never talks about the X-Men anymore. We were talking about him lots for Deadpool and Wolverine, but if you got X-Men questions, J3, I'm always willing to answer them. Jake Rogers is my highest owned. Bo Naylor number 2. I really like Travis d'Arnaud for tournaments. He's one of my favorites. And then I think spending up for Will Smith and Sal Perez are great ways of getting different.
All right, let's go to first base today. I would like, this is, I guess this is a position where you can define what your team's going to look like today, Tim, because you have Bryce Harper, who's reasonably expensive on both sites. And if you're playing Scooble, you're limited in the amount of high-priced players you can get. Is he one you want to target in this win game, in the temperature game against Singer, who does have, you get him with lefty power? That's definitely Bryce Harper. Or are you going, a Spencer Torkelson, who was horrible to start the year, not great in the minors. He's back in the major league level, but he's a Detroit Tiger today, and he's cheap. You've got on DraftKings, you've got a couple options at first base you can choose from. So are you spending, or are you trying to save here and use your salary elsewhere?
It's kind of I'm not 100% sure yet. You broke it down perfectly though. I kind of want to prioritize shortstop and maybe maybe third base over first base. I'm not 100% sure yet, but yeah, Bryce Harper would be the guy. I absolutely love Matt Olson today. I don't think you can do it in cash, but in any other format, I think this is a really great spot for Atlanta. So I really like Matt Olson. But yeah, if you're looking to save and just continue that Detroit train in cash, Spencer Torkelson is your guy. And then also you have Andy Ibanez, probably better served at second, but he's $500 less than Torkelson. So I don't mind Andy Ibanez either.
If you had to pick between those, like let's say you had to choose between one of those, who would you take today?
Between the two Tigers?
Yep.
I haven't looked at pinch hit risk, but I'd probably go Ibanez, actually.
Yeah, I think I'm on Ibanez too over Torkelson. Just wasn't even really doing it in the minors, and I guess we'll have to see. He definitely hit the 2 home run bet on FanDuel or whatever for him to go yard today. If you're going to take Andy Ibanez over Torkelson to cover yourself a little bit. All right, let's get to first base tournaments. TJ, what are you doing? Right? Are you spending up on the Olsons and the Bryce Harpers, or are you dabbling in the mid tier to be different? Your boy Josh Naylor just 4,700 on DraftKings, and then of course you get the cheapies from Detroit and some of the other guys out there.
Yeah, I do have a lot of Ibanez, Solano, and Torkelson just because they're cheap. But my highest on spend up, Shohei Ohtani. Josh Naylor, absolutely love. That's why he's a Spidey bomb. And then if I need a cheapie who is not Solano or one of the Detroit players, I really like Nathaniel Lowe today. Sal Perez, Freeman, and Harper, if I can get up to them, absolutely fantastic. It is just quite difficult too.
Yeah, anytime you can get Ohtani as, the 6th or 7th highest owned first baseman, seems like a good time to go overweight. What is he, 40-40? I think I saw Caesars had a prop to go 50-50, basically minus 110 either side. You can think you can get to 50 home runs, 50 steals. That seems pretty lofty for anybody, but I mean, think you can do it?
Of course.
What about you, Tim? Ohtani, did he get there?
I think he can do it. I think it'll be pretty close. And one thing real quick about Detroit, I just looked up the bats, Andy Ibanez pinch hit risk. It's 40%. So I might say Torkelson's a better cash game play than Ibanez, just because of that risk.
That is a very, very high pinch hit risk for Ibanez there. All right, let's go to second base. Tim, what are you doing here? You've got Jimenez is cheap on both sites if you want to fit him in there. You've got, there's guys like McKinstry. He's eligible at 4 positions on FanDuel. Ibanez is at 4 positions on FanDuel. It's insane they allow guys that many different positions. It's nice to make your lineups when you want to get him in there. There's a couple other cheapies too at second base. Definitely not a position I'm looking to spend on. Marcus Semien, Luis Garcia, Michael Garcia. This is a position you want to go to the mid tier or punt tonight.
Yeah, this is definitely not a spend up position at all. I think Colt Keith is very interesting at 3,500. I don't really care that it's left on left. I think Kai Busch is that bad. So batting 5th in this lineup at 3,500 is really strong. I am going to go Jimenez, though, at 3,400 in cash games, just because I want to get to a couple of Guardians, and especially the lefties. So I'm probably going to be looking at Jimenez and Ramirez. So, yeah, it's really between Jimenez and Keith for me.
All right, what are you doing with McKinstry? He's second base on he's another 4 position player on FanDuel. He's shortstop outfield on DraftKings. Is he someone you're eyeing? He's towards the bottom of the lineup, having a pretty horrible season. He's cheap. I guess we'll talk about him here a little bit. Not someone I'm actively targeting, but I understand how he ends up on some teams tonight, if that makes sense.
I definitely understand it because, the Tigers, I think they have the highest implied total on the entire slate. So I can see why all these cheapies, and that just shows how bad Kai Busch is, and Vegas knows it. And so, even with this horrible Detroit team, I think that it makes perfect sense that Tigers are going to be put on optimals everywhere you go. It makes perfect sense.
TJ, what are you doing at second base? Are you using some of the Tigers? Jimenez, what are you looking at?
Yeah, Jimenez, I definitely think is the best guy on the board. I have him as my highest owned by a fairly wide margin. Banez, Gavin Lux, as somebody I really like today. Keith is fine. Whit Merrifield, Garcia. It's pretty gross positions. So it's Jimenez by a fairly wide margin. Lux is probably my second favorite than anyone else.
Yeah, I forgot to talk with Merrifield. Tim, is he was like he's in serious consideration as like a cash game piece for me hitting second for Atlanta. Would you rather play him or one of the garbage Detroit bats that you definitely don't have any expectations for?
Yeah. So how much is very? Yeah,
He's
tough.
36 on DraftKings, so he basically was like my last man out over there. Like I'm going to play. I think I'm going to play Jimenez over him, and I'd play like a Colt Keith, I think. But on FanDuel, I mean, you can mix him in on FanDuel. He's what 25 or 26 over there.
Yeah, he's 25 on FanDuel. Absolutely no issue with that. I still prefer Jimenez at 28. I still prefer Keith at 27. But yeah, I mean, if you don't have the money for those two guys, and you want to go down a little bit, I have absolutely no issue with Merrifield. I also kind of like Daniel Schneemann, who is 2,400 on FanDuel. I like him quite a bit. So there's
nice on DraftKings. 23 on DraftKings, I think.
He's very nice on DraftKings as well. Absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, a lot of these punt second basemen are really strong plays tonight.
All right. Let me check out how many likes. We just need a few more likes. We'll get a third Spidey bomb from TJ. Before we get to third base, I talked earlier about RotoGrinders Premium. Something you get with that is SimLabs, and now you can use SimLabs on your phone. There's a mobile app, the expert DFS lineup generation tool from RotoGrinders and Fantasy Labs, known as SimLabs, just got better. In addition to the desktop tool, you can now download the SimLabs mobile app from your app store and use the power of DFS simulations in the palm of your hand. Available to combo and single sport subs. You can buy it a la carte in the app store as well. So if you're on the go, right, and you want to be a sim bro, you can pretty quickly enter, bombard the MME teams, everything right from your phone on the go now. So an excellent addition having it as a mobile app. Make sure to check that out. Third base. So Tim, you mentioned this was a position you might want to spend on. You have Jose Ramirez, as I guess would be that guy. Let's talk priorities today. So is he a priority over Bryce Harper? Is he a priority over a shortstop? Is he a priority over, let's say, an Ozuna, a Schwarber, an Ohtani? Where do you rank Jose Ramirez?
Yeah, it's super close for me amongst those Philly guys that you mentioned and like Bobby Witt. But I think I am going to make J-Ram my premium spend. You might be able to get 2 premium spends also just because the Tigers are so darn cheap. So I'm definitely going to be playing J-Ram because I love the Guardians tonight. I already bet J-Ram's home run prop also. So yeah, I'm rolling with Jose Ramirez tonight in single entry and in cash. On DK, I'm not really seeing guys like punt third baseman that I really
I got Solano in there. Like I want J-Ram, but I'm not doing that. I've gone to Solano at 3K.
Okay. Yeah. So I wouldn't want to do that. So I mean, I guess to each their own, right? I mean, it's not a horrible play. So I mean, I'm paying up for J-Ram.
Yeah, he's definitely the cheapest third. I don't want anything below him, and then everything above is basically I have to get to the Machado or Jose Ramirez tier in order to get up there. So he was basically, I'm making a concession. I want, Corey Seager was a guy I just gave out as a home run prop. I'm in on Corey Seager tonight. He's someone I'm really trying to play. That's a priority for me. I absolutely understand you wanting to play Jose Ramirez. To me, this just means the pricing on DraftKings and even on FanDuel is probably pretty good tonight, right? Because we're usually on sort of the same guys, and I think it's just going to have people on some different teams tonight. So maybe they did the pricing pretty good today. Where are you? You probably like Jose Ramirez too, TJ. Is he your highest owned? And then what else are you looking at?
I do actually have a little bit more Solano than J-Ram, but J-Ram is my favorite, and my next favorite would be Spidey Bomb number 3, Manny Machado at plus 550. So we got Jose Ramirez, Josh Naylor, Manny Machado as the 3 Spidey Bombs today. I love either getting to J-Ram or Machado here at third. Other than that, I have Solano as a cheapie. I have a little bit of Jose Tena, and then Max Muncy is a lower owned play that I like quite a bit, even though he's batting 7th.
The 550, you can find that. Looks like on MGM. Everything's MGM. I'm mad. My MGM. I might have been up maybe like $1,000 on MGM, and I'm absolutely crushed across the board on anything to bet. I can literally just bet pennies. Gotta have that fixed for NFL season somehow. We'll try to figure that one out. All right, let's go to shortstop. I mentioned I'm on Corey Seager. Tim, if you're not on Corey Seager, it's very hard on both sites. If you're playing Scooble and Jose Ramirez, you're probably not on Corey Seager. So that's what we're doing. I'm doing different from you. So what are you on?
I'm playing Daniel Schneemann.
Yep.
That's what I'm doing. Yeah, so that's basically you're punting third and I'm punting short. So it's definitely sketchy punting short these days. Love Corey Seager. I love Bobby Witt for any format either. Trey Turner, great plays. Like so many great plays at short. But just the way that the rest of my construction led me, I elected to punt shortstop with Schneemann. So again, getting a lefty against Gray, I really like tonight. So yeah, I decided to go Schneemann.
All right, Schneemann and Jose Ramirez or Seager and Solano. TJ, who's going to win this battle?
I would probably go Schneemann and Jose Ramirez there.
All right, yeah, you just wanted to say. I know how this works here. All right, TJ.
Jose's a Spidey bomb. I like that side, but
all right.
I do have a lot of Schneemann, some punting with McCoy, Kreider, Arcia, McKinstry, but Corey Seager and Bobby Witt will be making up half my lineups today. I do give the slight edge to Seager because of the price difference, but Witt in tournaments at that low ownership, absolutely eating that up today. I'll be bare minimum double that.
Yeah, and Schneemann too. He's outfield eligible on DraftKings as well. Tim, right? I believe so, right? So there's a lot of good outfielders you want to use tonight too, but there's multiple ways to get him into your lineup. What's our projection on him in terms of ownership? 20% ownership, so that's pretty high for a 2.3K player. On single entry teams, Tim, is he making those teams for you if he's coming in at 20% owned?
He is right now, so I think he's going to stay there. I'm not going to change him now. But yeah, it's kind of sketchy. He is pretty high owned, so might not be the best play for large field.
TJ, what's your ownership on him and for your MME stuff?
Schneemann?
Yep.
16%.
All right, so very close to in line with the field on that one. So no particular stand either way on that one. All right, let's go to the outfield. Real quick, let me check the likes. We're at over 100, I believe. We're literally at 100. TJ, is there any way if we can squeeze up to 125? Can we come up with something else?
Let's see. Double checking if I have anyone else in my bets that is still playing. Yeah, I can toss one more out there for sure. If we get up to 125.
So if we get up to 125, I've squeezed out another Spidey bomb from TJ. Tim, let's talk the outfield. Again, this is a position. So if you're playing Jose Ramirez, are you on the Marcell Ozuna or Kyle Schwarber? Are those targets for you? Are these sort of the two premium bats you would be getting up to with Jose Ramirez? Are you there?
Is that Tim?
I thought that was for DJ. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm starting with Michael Harris in the outfield, 4,300. I think that's really, really strong play. I mean, he just seems to be too cheap. He should be like high fours, low fives in my opinion. And then a guy like Matt Vierling, but really, it's tough because I mean, you want to play Ohtani, you want to play Schwarber. I'm probably going to be fading those two guys. If I can get up to one, I mean, I don't think I can get up to Ohtani, so I'm just going to play. If I can, I'm going to play Schwarber just to get one piece out of this Phillies offense.
You mentioned Vierling. What do you think about Riley Green? 51 on DraftKings, but just 31 on FanDuel. Is he on the FanDuel squad?
Totally, definitely reasonable on FanDuel. I think it's a mistake in cash anyway to play him on DK. If you're going to get up to 5,100 for him, you might as well find the 500 to play Schwarber. So I think it's a mistake to play him in cash in single entry or GBP. Totally fine with it.
All right, let's see what else we can get to. You mentioned Harris. He's someone I was on. Vierling. We mentioned the Cleveland guy, shortstop, and outfield eligible as a cheap play. Those are probably the core of what you're doing in the outfield. What's TJ doing in terms of ownership for tournaments?
Schwarber is going to be my favorite spend up here in the outfield today. Absolutely love him. Ohtani as well, getting to a lot of him, and then a lot of Harris in the mid range. Outside of that, though, I am going cheap a lot here. Will Brennan, Matt Vierling, Schneemann, Renfroe, Dayron Blanco, a little bit of Leody Taveras. A lot of the cheapies from, if it's not Schwarber or Ohtani, it's basically just like cheap. And then my next highest owned guys are at 12 and 11%, Mookie Betts and Marcell Ozuna.
All right. So with that out of the way, I've got one more thing to tell you about. If you play DraftKings Pick 6, there's a Firefox extension. You can get the browser extension on Firefox to have our premium props and pick'em projections overlaid on the screen, so you can quickly and easily find the lines with the best value and make expert picks all in one place. You can download that for the DraftKings Pick 6 Firefox extension today. All right, let's answer some questions. The people in the YouTube, the people in the RotoGrinders live stream Discord chat. I'm going to, let's see, so I'm in the Discord right now. I see a couple questions in there. We'll get to YouTube in just a minute. You can post in either one, but currently staring at the RotoGrinders Discord if you want to get your question answered quickly. D-Dot has a FanDuel single entry 2v2. Tim, that sounds like it's up your alley. He wants to know if it's Brady Singer and Mookie Betts or Charlie Morton and Corey Seager.
It's the second one. I really don't like Brady Singer as an option tonight.
Yeah, I would do the second one far and away. I believe Tim would also say that as well. Kershaw and Kai Busch for DraftKings tournament with Tampa Bay and Detroit.
No. I vote no.
You can't play Kai Busch and Detroit.
No. I'm amateur. I guess I'm not understanding his question. Amateur, if you want to resend that, try to be a little bit more specific, and I will try to get that to you here. An over in the Cleveland, Texas game. What do you think that's at, Tim? Have you looked at that?
Is it 8.5?
Is it 8.5? I don't know. I'm pulling it up right now. Let's see. So we've got a 8.5 is even money plus 100 to take the over on that.
It's 8 on DK at minus 118.
Yeah, you can do in 8. 8. Does that sound good? Minus 118.
I don't hate it.
I think that's a reasonable thing to do if you were looking for a bet here. Yep. NBA. Speaking of that game, Quan or Jimenez, FanDuel utility cash.
I would do Jimenez.
That's I think pretty close. I would probably take Jimenez as well.
It is close.
Let's see here. Bush projected ownership. I mean, this has to be like 1%. No, like, would anybody do this? In theory, like, it's Detroit, and Detroit's going to be popular. I'm trying to put my GPP hat on. You don't
even need to put your GPP hat on. You just listen when you ask me what I'm doing at pitcher, because he's my third highest owned pitcher.
So Bush is your third highest owned pitcher?
Yes.
That totally glossed me over.
Walk button on Scooball and Clayton Kershaw.
All right, so walk me through that for some of the people here. It seems like a couple people are asking about that. What is leading you to do that?
It's nothing complex. He's facing the highest owned offense on the slate, and he's the cheapest pitcher. It's literally just that.
All right, let's see. Playable. Let's see. So amateur, are they playable as pitchers with Kershaw? So can you play Bush with Kershaw? With their pitch limits and how bad Kai is. I mean, TJ would say yes. So basically,
I would not say yes to that because I'm playing Scooball in every lineup.
Yeah, so like you're playing him to get Scooball and the bats is basically what you're doing, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so that
because
would make sense.
If there are nobody else really other than Scooball who puts up more than 20 points today, then if he manages to somehow put up 12 and Detroit he manages to make Detroit fail, then all of a sudden you're looking pretty good.
All right. Beaner wanted to know favorite FanDuel pitcher for a tournament today, Tim. So do you want to play Scooball at high ownership? And if you play him, you're pretty much, you are locked into playing a few Detroit bats. I think in most lineups, there are some other ways to get around him. But if you're looking for a stack, I mean, the Detroit offense fits in very nicely with their pitcher today on FanDuel. Are you going to go with that and, ride the wave with everyone else if you were playing him? Is there another team you might want to target that also has some cheap bats, or would you go to maybe like the Morton tier, your Pablo Lopez, and get different that way?
I think if you don't want to play Skubal and I guess it's I like Lopez quite a bit, and he's going to be behind in ownership, behind all of King, Morton, Gray. He's going to be right around Clayton Kershaw's ownership, and I think he's got a higher ceiling than Kershaw. So I think I would go Pablo Lopez.
If you wanted all the bats on FanDuel while we're talking about it, what's the cheapest pitcher you want to play, Tim?
I mean, if you want to take like a real risky shot, like I guess it would be Taj. I don't want to have people play Ben Lively, so I'd rather go with try to get a ceiling game out of Taj.
Yeah, I'd probably do a Taj, a Morton. Everything else starts to get, you're probably better off just going to Skubal. So Taj or Morton would probably be mine to get some more of the bats. And that would probably would be where I would end that. Minnesota, and we didn't really talk too much about their bats against Sonny Gray. Gray was really good to start the season. He's been a little bit more up and down over the last month or two. Anyone on Minnesota today? TJ, what's the ownership look like for them? Or very minimal?
None,
no Minnesota at all. Tim, would you throw them in any of a 150 set today, or is the other offenses too good?
They would fall pretty low for me. I don't know if I do none, but they would be not highly owned for me.
All right. Ohtani gets to 50-50 or Judge goes for 63 homers. I mean, Judge's hitting homers every day right now. It's hard to go.
both.
Yeah, both. Judge had a pretty bad start to the season too. Imagine what his season could have been if he wasn't slumping.
They were booing him off the field in April.
Yeah, it was nuts. And now look what he's single-handedly carrying. That team has two major league viable bats pretty much at the moment right now, and they're carrying the team. Not today, but on other days they can when the pitching can come through. All right, that's the look at the RotoGrinders Discord. Going to circle back to YouTube. We're going to go backwards here. So TTID, you want to know Atlanta at all? So I do like Atlanta quite a bit today. Their lineup's a little different, but all that does is it makes it a little bit more attainable because you've got Merrifield up towards the top there, Tim. And I still like Harris. I like Ozuna. Olsen, sure, he can hit a home run every now and then. Not as great as last year, but he's still having an okay season. Darno, right? Like the Atlanta stack is certainly very good for me. Where are they in terms of rank? Like Harris and probably Merrifield, because of his lineup spot, are probably the two guys for cash. But as a stack overall, I'm certainly fine with them today against Irvin.
Yeah, I love Atlanta. I've got no issue with them at all. They've got, like you said, cheap pieces. They've got expensive pieces that we like. I really like Matt Olson. I don't think he's going to get very much ownership. So yeah, I really like Atlanta tonight.
All right, I just got noticed that there's props out for the Kansas City Baltimore game, I think, on DraftKings. So I got to go hit. I'm going to be busy tonight scouring through those. Got to get those early before they start moving all over the place. Let's see. Jake Irvin. You got any Jake Irvin tonight, TJ?
Nope.
No Jake Irvin. Let's see. In Atlanta, where do they rank for you in terms of stacks?
Right near the top. I think I would have Cleveland and maybe Kansas City above them, but maybe even just Cleveland. I think Atlanta's right near the top for me.
All right, let's see if we can get a couple more questions here. Detroit lefties or righties only? I mean, a Colt Keith, the Riley Green, these guys are all in play. Tim, I'm not really too concerned, right? Then you get the bullpen, who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, the assumption is that the Tigers get to Kai Bush, and we don't really have to worry about that game or worry about who's lefty, who's righty. So I have no issue playing Detroit lefties.
All right, Matt wanted to know, Matt Smith, favorite outfielder 3,500 or less on DraftKings. This is let's pretend it's for cash. It might even be for cash. Yes, it is. What are we doing, Tim?
I'm going John Kensey Noel. I think that's what I'm doing.
So what about Schneemann at 2,300? Would you play him in the outfield to get other things that you want, like to go way down and then have more money, or were you looking more so a guy right around that 3,500 level?
You definitely could do that, what you suggested, or you could play like Ramon Laureano at 3,300 batting sixth.
Yeah, lots of. I think there's definitely a few viable cheap outfielders today on DraftKings. Let's see if we got anything else. Renfroe or Isabel in a KC stack. TJ, what's your ownership on those two look like? And overall on KC, where do they rank in terms of a stack for you?
Who is that within KC again? Sorry,
Renfroe or Isabel?
I would go Renfroe just because Isbell does struggle quite a bit against the lefties, but I have 15% Renfroe, 10% Isbell, and I like Blanco better than both of them.
All right. Someone wanted to know Tampa Bay as a stack tonight. I know TJ, you were there. They said they're better against lefties. I mean, maybe if you look at like this plate IQ is horrific this season against lefties, and you mentioned. I mean, the bottom of this lineup, this is not a good lineup anymore for Tampa Bay. It's not the Rays of like a year or 2 years ago where they pieced it together and had a good offense. This is not it anymore.
No, 30% K rate is absolutely wild. So no Rays for me.
And Tim, just completely off your radar against Kershaw.
Yeah, I mean, if I was doing 150 like TJ is, I would not be getting to any Tampa.
All right, let's see here. This is like a strikeout question. Scooble, 7.5 strikeouts plus 120. Do you think that's a reasonable bet to make tonight?
I mean, we have him projected for 6.95. I mean, it's not horrible. A couple like four of these White Sox strike out like over 30% of the time. So I don't hate that. I don't know if like the math would say that that's right, but I don't mind it.
The strikeout play was earlier, the Toronto pitcher. I mean, the line was 4. I didn't put it on scores, but it was 4.5. And I looked at it this morning. I was like, what? And so I got that quick and hit a couple of alts up to 7. Seems like a lot of people were doing that. I wish I would have written it up. But what a performance by that. And he's been having a really good last few games here. I couldn't believe the line was at 4.5 on him this morning. Seemed like a gift. Let's see here. Yeah, Francis 5.5. Yeah, I think 6 I got early this morning was like plus 130. It was nuts, the lines they were offering very early this morning on Francis. Witt or Perez? You got to pick one for a home run today. Both?
Perez.
Yeah, I mean, I'd go Witt, but
yeah, I'd probably everyone would take Witt in that equation, right, TJ?
No, Perez.
Oh, you're gonna take Sal Perez. All right.
Yeah, he took Perez, which I don't hate that, but
is my mic not working in Britt's headphones? Because I swear
I'm making bets. I'm trying to do YouTube. I'm trying to look at this. I got an odd screen up. I'm trying to make a couple.
As if I'm not the producer and analyst on this show.
I know. Tim's just hanging around. He gets to talk every once in a while. You have only one sports book on your island, Tim. Now is this island? Is this like your island or is this like Maine's island?
No, it's an island where about 10,000 people live.
Oh, all right. You only have what one sports book there, correct?
No, we've got DK and Caesars.
Oh, and Caesar. All right, so you got a couple to choose from there.
Yeah.
Late to show Seager homer. Yeah, Seager was mine plus 400. I think I saw him on MGM and on Fanatics for to homer. If you were looking on that, Seager is basically my favorite play of the day. I think Jose Ramirez would be TJ's and Tim's favorite play of the day if you were spending up. Correct me, guys, if I'm wrong, if I'm putting words in your mouth, but you guys were both very heavy on them.
From a DFS standpoint, I think it's Seager. Just because he does have that price discount, but I like the betting odds best on Jose, but it's pretty close to 1A and 1B for me.
All right, we have hit lock. Hope everyone does good in their shows. The Spidey Bombs, Jose Ramirez, Josh Naylor, Manny Machado. I don't know if we got to 125. Let me refresh my screen. Probably not.
He did not.
We did not. So there will be no fourth one. I like Corey Seager. Tim, who was your tater?
John Kenzie Noel.
And
I also had bet J Ram, but TJ gave it out first.
All right. So hopefully all the Spidey bombs and Corey Seager and Noel all come through. Hopefully you all do good in your DFS lineups. We'll see you here again next weekend. For Tim and TJ, I'm Brett. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we out you.